All right, so let's just find that seated position. And maybe consider switching your legs up. If you normally have one leg in front, try putting the other one in front. And let's focus on the spine. Nice, long, and tall. And then we'll bring our awareness to the breath. Just notice the inhale and the exhale. On the next inhale, let's reach both those arms up to the sky. We'll interlace the fingers and exhale to the right side. Inhale back up to center. Exhale left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, we'll reach over the legs, walking those fingers forward in front of us. So walk them over to the right side. And back to center. Notice any difference you might feel. And then let's walk the fingers over to the left side. And back to center. On the next breath in, let's slowly start to walk those hands up to our seated position. And we'll just reconnect with the breath here for just a moment. Noticing the inhale. Noticing as we breathe out. We'll drop the left hand to the mat. Inhale the right arm up. We're going to reach just by that left ear and slowly pull the head over to the right side. We'll walk that left hand just barely behind us. Right hand comes just behind the left ear. And look down into that armpit. And release that right hand to the mat. Inhale, left arm up. We'll gently pull that left or the head to the left shoulder. Walk the right hand just barely behind you. Left hand comes just behind the ear and we'll look down into that left armpit. And release that hand back to the mat. Take some neck circles here. So first to the right side. Right ear to right shoulder. Look up to the sky. Left ear to left shoulder. Looking down. You can do this to your own pace, however fast or slow you want. And let's switch directions. And bring that back to center. Back to your tall, neutral spine. We'll take the shoulders in little circles first going forward. And on the next breath, let's bring those backwards. Sliding scapula down the spine. And last one. We'll come back to stillness. Let's place the hands on the mat, swing those legs around into a tabletop position. We'll start with our cat-cow sequence. So at your own pace, inhaling in cow, exhaling in cat. Warming up the spine here, building awareness. And let's bring that back to neutral spine. We'll let the head drop here. And then slowly we'll round the back and bring the hips back to our feet. So it's not a child's pose because we're not dropping the spine. We're keeping the back rounded, but it's a similar idea. Let's stretch those hands out in front of us. And hopefully as you're here, you're feeling a big stretch in the mid to low back. And on the next breath, let's drop those hips all the way. Reach the hands out in front of us into a child's pose, letting that back rest. If you want here, you're welcome to walk the fingers to one side and then the other for a little bit more active of a child's pose. Or you can bring the hands to your sides for a more passive, relaxing child's pose. And on the next breath, let's bring those hands underneath our shoulders. Lift back up into your tabletop position. We'll tuck the toes and lift the hips into a downward facing dog. You can walk out the dog if you want. Dropping one heel and then the other. Letting that stretch go up your calves and into your hamstrings. And on the next breath, let's walk forward into a forward fold, bringing those feet to our hands. Lengthening out the back of the legs here. Walking the fingers to one side. And then the other. And back to center. You're welcome to spread your feet just a little bit wider on the mat. And place your fingers in the creases of the elbows, letting yourself hang. Maybe swaying side to side, really lengthening the back of the legs. On the next exhale, let's reach down and walk the feet even a little bit wider into a wide-legged forward fold. Let's bend the left knee here just for a little bit of a side stretch. Then the right knee. I'll let you guys play around with this pose. I'll give you a minute or two. Just listen to your body, see what it wants. You're welcome to walk your fingers to one side and then the other, or experiment with shifting your weight between your hips. Another option is to place one hand in the center of the mat, reaching the other up to the sky. Wherever you're at, let's start to either even that out on both legs or come to stillness. Let's bend the knees, place the hands on the mat, and slowly heel to walk your feet together. And we'll step back into a plank, either on your knees or your toes. We won't hold this for super long, just for a moment. And we'll drop the knees to the mat. Keeping the toes tucked, let's start to walk the hands back to the feet into a kneeling position for our fire toes. You're welcome to keep your hands on the mat if that's helpful to you. And on the next breath, let's walk those hands back out to our tabletop position. Let's bring the right leg up into a low lunge. Start to feel that left hip flexor as it lengthens. On the next breath, we'll start to straighten that front leg, bringing the hips back into a reverse lunge. You're welcome to lift your foot up off the ground, bringing those toes towards you. It's going to stretch the bottom of your leg a little bit more. Or for a little bit gentler of a stretch, you can keep them pointed towards the ground. And let's walk those hands back forward into our lunge. And we'll bring that foot across into a half pigeon. Maybe keeping the torso tall here, or maybe dropping onto the elbows. On the next breath, let's bring those hands back underneath us. And we'll tuck the toes, step back to a plank. And we'll step the left foot forward, drop the right knee into a low lunge. Lengthening that right hip flexor. And on the next breath, let's start to straighten that left leg, bringing the hips back into a reverse lunge. Walk the hands back forward into our lunge and start to bring that left leg across to the right side. Dropping that into a half pigeon. Either staying here on your hands or dropping onto your elbows, whichever one works for you. On the next breath, we'll bring those hands underneath of our shoulders once again. We're just going to drop onto that left hip, swing that right leg around, and bring those legs into a tented position. We'll roll all the way onto our backs here. Start by hugging that right knee into the chest. Then we'll bring the right ankle to the left knee and hug that left hamstring into your chest. We'll drop that left foot to the mat. Send the arms out to the sides and drop the legs over to the left side as we look to the right. Inhale back to center. Let's release that right foot to the mat. Hug the left knee into the chest. On the next breath, we'll bring that left ankle to the right knee. Hug that right knee into the chest, reaching behind the hamstring. We'll release those feet back to the mat. Send the arms out to the sides and drop the legs over to the right side as we look to the left. Inhale those legs back to center. Release that left foot to the mat. If you want here, you can place your hands under your hips for a little bit of elevation, and then we'll stretch the legs up straight to the sky in a waterfall pose. On the next breath, let's slowly start to drop those feet back to the mat in their tented position. Feel the blood coming back to the toes. So release the hands from under the hips. And on the next breath, let's slowly walk the hands back up to a seated position on the mat. Spend a second here, acknowledging your breath, thanking your body. Let's inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale them to heart center. Thank you guys for practicing with me today. Namaste.